Look, Pyrex has got the cocaine resi in it. See the rappers in the trash, we was heavy whipping. Used to bag it up in Vanessa Kitchen.
Welcome, good people. My name is Shawn. I'm the founder / visual director of a digital marketing firm that centers the primary art market. Recently, I did some campaign work for a client, and I want to share my background footage of that production work to show you what it takes from start to finish to complete a project. I'm treating this channel like a diary to chronicle the growth of my company. So if you're interested in art, music, business, videography, then this channel might be for you. I'm also, if I'm being honest, using this channel to better my skills as a speaker, better my skills as someone that aspires to be a curator, either in the media space or the fine art space. So yeah, if you're interested, then stick around. Let's start the video. So my client is a mixed media artist called Mikel Elam. We shot the interview and some photos in his studio in Germantown. It's in this beautiful, restored or refitted old firehouse. Great shots, great setting. Audio was not great. Usually it's me and my partner Steve on production days. This is Steve, my guy. Steve does audio and gaffing most days, but he also records the background footage. But he's an all-around, all multi-tool. He's, part production as well. He's a partner. I like to run light on gear because I like to be efficient, quick, nimble, and I don't have a lot of prep time. I never know what the space is going to be like when I get there 100%, because artists they tend to have clutter, or they have things in places that they're working on pieces that they don't want to move. So I went with a flexible light setup. I brought my A-cam. My Blackmagic 6K Pro. It's a beast. I love this joint right here. It's everything you need for a beginner videographer / director. Excuse me, it's so dusty. I haven't cleaned it in a while. But it's still rigged out. I kind of keep it this way. There's no real reason for me to not rig it, because I have my B-cam. The most important thing to highlight on this setup is simply the filter. I have a 1/8 Pro Mist filter in the matte box. I like my cinematography to look a little bit dreamy, a little softer, more cinematic. Whatever that really means in this modern age. And I find the Pro Mist cuts the edge from that digital look and gives it a more softer, dreamy feel. And that's what I'm going for. The goal of my interviews is for it to be received more like a story instead of a documentary. So I don't want a super clinical look. The colors are going to be lifted. The highlights might be blown out. Things might look softer. There might be some glow, some halation. I want something that feels like a movie. For my beat cam, I have the Lumix S1. I just got it. I think it's a suitable beat cam paired with the Blackmagic 6K Pro because of the color science. And eventually I can upgrade and get a Blackmagic recorder or monitor and record in B-raw, and then the color, I can much more easily match the colors in post and DaVinci Resolve, so it just makes a lot of sense. Also, I think it's a solid camera. 10-bit 4K recording, flexible codecs, you have slow motion as well, great photos as well. It's a nice hybrid because we also took some photos of Mikel in his space, photos that are try to give a sense of editorial, magazine shots, and 24 megapixel sensor captured fantastic photos. Very high detailed. You can blow them up and it'll still be pristine. No, the autofocus is not good, but that doesn't really matter to me because most of the time when we're doing an interview setup, you're getting behind that camera and you're dialing in your focus manually. And not for nothing, the autofocus, if you're doing a talking head like this, is pretty fine. As long as your subject is not moving too much, it's good, you're fine. So we get there and his studio was small. And that's exactly why we pack light, because you never know what kind of space you're gonna get when you show up to these production days. But me personally, I like to take that as a challenge. I do have ideas, concepts, and a basic framework of a storyboard that I'm trying to achieve. Nothing is concrete. You want to be like water. in my opinion, in these scenarios, because art is, what we're doing is collaborative. It's a push and pull, it's suggestive, and the subject should be involved, especially with my niche. I like to incorporate the artist in the decision making, the visual outcome of what we're trying to create. So when I get into the space, I just start to churn my wheels and figure out what concepts, what shots, what angles I can get that would elevate the story, elevate the interview. And Steve and I, we both put our brains together and make sure we get as many cool shots as possible within our time frame. Big shout out to Mikkel, really nice speaker, really interesting dude, great story. Really appreciate him for agreeing to collaborate on this project. And he was fly. My guy had that, he had it on, you know what I mean? My guy had that shit on. Alright, he had the Ricks. You see him. And it was perfect. It just reflected his studio, his work. He looked like a piece of his studio. And in the moments where we were recording B-roll, I made a cognitive effort to capture B-roll that made him look like he was embedded in his own art. Like it's like he was a fixture of his own art as well. I hope that effectively comes across in the final interview cut. He, as a mixed media artist, he routinely uses everyday objects in his work. So that was the nucleus of the idea for Mikkel's interview. I think the colors that he had on, the colors that were in his work, it all aligned. It all aligned perfectly, in my opinion. So I'm very grateful for that. I don't think I shot enough B-roll though. There was times where I felt compromised because of the space. I felt I wasn't determined enough to get certain shots done the way exactly how I saw it, because I didn't want him to go out his way to move his pieces, because I know maybe he was working on something over there, or something might be delicate, because there's real physical objects on canvas. So I was nervous about that. So I made a mental note. I made an actual note of that moving forward. I remember watching a documentary of Tom Ford. He said something along the lines of, if you have an idea, if you have a vision of an idea, fight like hell to see it through. And I really should try to do that when I have a really good idea. But anyway, that leads to a big part of these production days, right? Yes, I'm producing content, I'm making digital assets for my client, but I have to remember that each opportunity is a learning opportunity. I have to soak in everything, execute well. That's why you prep and plan. But as things go and you run into a stumbling block or a speed bump, I should always make sure I'm cognitively I'm remembering issues, remembering lessons that would help me further along the lines, or maybe with the next interview, maybe with the next artist that I work with, or the entity I work with, because it's very important to the growth of a company. This is a startup, and startups should learn how to fail fast and grow fast. Not a startup in an unethical sense that it's about perma growth, right? Because we're in a niche market, and I believe that in corporations or corporate governance, there should be constraint. There should be ideas of limitations that you put upon yourself. You shouldn't aspire to grow infinitely, but at the very beginning, you should try to grow as much as you can. And that's what I want to do for Memory Gallery. One of the biggest takeaways that I learned is that I am a part of the content. If I'm doing an interview in my voice and I'm the one actually delivering the interview questions, then I'm a part of the content. I should remember that at all times. So my delivery, my inflections should be just as high quality as I see it in my head. And I shouldn't be afraid to start over or stop the interview to get it just right, because this is a production. It's not theater, but it is a production, right? There's a high level of authenticity that has to come across in each interview. But if I'm doing this, then I got to get it right, either on production day or practice beforehand, so the end product is buttery smooth. That's the number one takeaway from this interview. But in my opinion, a great production day. So yeah, that was the day. That was how the day went. That was my thoughts behind how I got to where I got to when it comes to my creative vision for Mikkel and his digital assets. That's the stuff that went wrong. Those are the lessons that I learned. All in all, successful day in my opinion, and can't wait to do it again. So if you like this video, if you wanna follow along with this journey, this diary of growing my business, please subscribe to this video. If you like this video, please like it as well. If you've been in the industry long, if you do something similar to what I've done, what I am doing, what are some lessons, some tips that you have that you would like to share? I'd appreciate any comment, any tips. Please put them below. And if you're interested in seeing the final cut of the interview video, I'll drop a link below as well for the professional channel. Once again, my name is Shawn. Thank you. Peace.
The mob let the Desi lift him, told him no trapping around here, but he ain't never listen.